Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Tighnari. Tighnari actually was very protective of you, though he didn't seem like it most of the time. But he didn't like it when someone would get his hands on, well, his girlfriend. He was very possessive, and maybe that was partly due to him being a fox, in some shape or way, but still, it was ingrained in him. And his possessiveness may not be that apparent because he was controlled about it and tried his best to be mindful, but sometimes it would get out of control. And that's why when he saw that man looking at you in a very not comfortable kind of way, he kept his eye on him. And for the entire night you were at that restaurant that you were in, he felt uncomfortable, keeping a watchful eye. And then it happened. He tried to touch you, and before his hand could even get within a centimeter of you, he slapped him away. "Don't you ever think you can touch my Wayan, alright?" he yelled, and his eyes were firm. And that's exactly when that man noticed that your date was also the forest watcher in Sumiru, and quickly apologized, fleeing away. He blushed brightly, giggling. He really scared him off, Tighnari. Well, it wasn't that difficult. I just think he was really rude. You're not wrong about that. I'm sorry. Did he sour the mood? He shook his head gently, leaning in to cup your face in his hands and press a soft kiss to your lips. Not anymore. You're too sweet for him to sour this. Well, he was incredibly flirty too. But what did you have to say about that? It was just a part of him. Something that you couldn't stop him from. Albedo? Albedo was very protective and he loved you very much. That also meant that he didn't want anyone making you uncomfortable or getting too close to you when he was around. And even when he wasn't. If it didn't make you comfortable, then it shouldn't happen. That's how he thought of it in his mind. And that's exactly how it should be at all times. But then, it seemed like nobody got the gist. Because sometimes people would look at you in ways that would make you clearly uncomfortable. And they wouldn't stop. And whenever he got upset about it, you would just tell him that it's fine. You can't control people's eyes and the way they choose to act. And as long as they're not directly impacting you in a physical manner or an emotional one by saying something, then you can't really just do anything about it. And you couldn't argue that you were right about that. But the thing is, it seemed like someone had just wanted to pass that line, the line that could not be crossed, and try touching you. And he just happened to be there. In that one moment, Albedo sprang forward and kicked the guy down, pressing him to the concrete with his foot. "What do you think you're doing?" he said, his voice calm in a threatening way. And you could only stare in absolute awe and a little bit of fear because, wow, he could really do that. "Don't you ever touch Hwayan again, or I swear, you will not be getting out of my grasp with just a simple bruise." And that was pretty clear to the guy, so he ended up leaving, not daring to even cast one more glance towards you. And that was pretty much what Albedo wanted. Not even a single glance to you, because some people were simply unworthy of witnessing your beauty. Childe loved you very much. But also, it was part of him to feel this protective and possessive of you sometimes. He couldn't get control of himself sometimes when people looked at you and had that glance in their eyes that would say they wanted to do much more than just look, but weren't able to. Usually, his presence alone would scare off anyone. And if that was not enough, then a simple glare would do. But it seemed some fellow here had zero idea who Childe was, and simply didn't notice him around. So that's why he'd put a hand on your back. You jumped, frowning. Hey, don't touch me, you creep, you said, frowning. And that's when Childe turned his head towards the offender and glared. He summoned his weapon, giving him a small smile. It was more akin to a fox, menacing and scary in the sneakiest of ways. How about we take this outside, huh? I mean, I don't want to dirty up the place. The guy immediately nodded, going with him outside. And though he tried to look at Childe and whispered that he shouldn't roughen him up too much and just give him a warning, he nodded at you, and you could tell that he was not going to listen whatsoever. Oh well, he was doing this for the good of all citizens in Tighnari. It wasn't just a simple selfish goal. It was simply what that scum deserved. And he liked giving everybody what they deserve. So that's what he was going to do right now. Cyno. See, the thing is, he would feel bad for anyone who got on Cyno's bad side, because he would always get angry to a degree that even you would not be able to discuss things with him. And he was scary. No, scary simply doesn't do it. He was simply terrifying in every meaning of the word. And so, when that man didn't notice that he was around and tried to touch you, it was the worst day of his life. He regretted every second of the thought to touch you, in the one moment that he did. Because as soon as the General Mahmatar turned around and saw him, he was being pinned to the wall the moment later. Wait, please, stop. I can explain myself. The man tried to talk to him at all, but it wasn't working. I could take your heart out right now and put it on a scale to judge your soul. But I won't need to. The likes of you are filthy, undeserving, and I'm going to give you the punishment that you deserve. Consider this a chance, for without my punishment, you won't have a single one at redemption. And honestly, that redemption you won't deserve. You were honestly chilled as you heard Cyno speak, because then the guy was crying, begging for forgiveness, and you knew very well that Cyno was not about to give him any. He consciously did this, unprompted, and that was more than enough for Cyno to lose it, especially since he was extremely protective of you. Oh well, it was his fault in the end, wasn't it? Sorry, Mayan. I'll be right back, he said as he took the man and left, and you knew that he would be back in 10 minutes. This wasn't the first time this happened, and probably won't be the last.